No way! NHL insider Elliotte Friedman has dropped an honestly quite shocking Calgary Flames trade update, at least in comparison to what we've been put through over the last month or so. All signs point to the Flames now taking it easy and in no rush to trade away their valuable assets. We're going to get into all that more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Let's talk about last night's game to get us going here as the Flames finally wrapped up a very lengthy homestand before quite a long break before the Flames have another game. Not till Thursday or something this week. What the heck's going on there? I thought it was a condensed schedule. Why the long break? Nah, every team gets at least one. But either way, the Flames last night, they lose 4-3 to the Anaheim Ducks in overtime, getting the loser point, the Daryl Sutter point. It was the, Beckett Seneca legacy game, I suppose. He got a hat trick in this one, which was pretty ridiculous. But we don't really care about the Ducks milestones. We care more about the Flames milestones. And a huge congratulations to handsome Mr. Hunter Brustevich on his first career NHL goal. Kind of a funny one. He wasn't really even shooting the puck, just trying to get it near the net, bounced in off a leg, and hey, a first goal is a first goal. First of many to come, we hope, in a Flames sweater. But again, a huge congratulations to Brusty there on the big first goal. If we get into the rest of the box score, Dustin Wolf, statistically, terrible game. And it's been so funny with Wolf this year. He started off terrible. He got sat. Cooley was kind of, the number one guy. Wolf bounced back and was sensational, and now he's kind of bad again, to be honest. Can't totally fault him, of course, but the stats, 4 goals on 21 shots is terrible. Only 17 saves. That's not going to be enough to win your game. It was enough to get a point somehow, but just the 8-10 save percentage, not very good. Matty Coronato led the way offensively, the only Flame with 2 points on a pretty lengthy list in terms of Flames box scores, but Coronato goal and an assist. Brustevich, as we saw, he got a goal, and Jonathan Huberdeau actually got the scoring started for the Flames with a goal as well. Not often those happen, so a Huberdeau goal. Farabee finally getting on the score sheet again with an assist. Klapka, Backlund, Kadri, and Gridden all getting assists as well. And it's funny, Gridden, since he's come back up, has been such a funny player to me. Sometimes he shows those flashes and looks so good, and other times he just doesn't look like he's playing hockey, if you know what I mean. He just doesn't seem to care all that much, but I still think he's really good and will be a very good player, but maybe he understands the assignment of tanking at certain points, as I know a lot of these Flames players do, despite them still getting a point. But that was last night's game against the team that we used to never be able to beat in their own barn. Now, let's get into this interesting Friedge report here, obviously coming from Elliotte Friedman. I actually listened to the 32 Thoughts podcast this morning, and again, it was interesting. So I had to make my own graphics here because no one else is talking about it yet, and I love when I pull up my homemade graphics that my picture disappears. Who knows what I'm doing behind the camera? Maybe I'm naked, but either way, enough about talking about that. Let's talk about what Friedman was saying about the Flames and their trades. So this first one here, he says, I don't necessarily think Calgary is in a rush to do anything else right now, and I also don't think they've got anything that says we have to do something right now, which is, dissect this into two different parts. So first part here, first thing he says, he doesn't necessarily think the Flames are in any rush to make more trades after the Rasmus Andersson one. Vegas really wanted Andersson. He almost got scooped up by Boston, but Vegas still got it done. They got the trade they wanted, of course, and now Calgary, in Friedman's opinion here, doesn't necessarily have to be in any rush to make more trades. And he doesn't name drop anyone, but he's talking about Nazem Kadri and Blake Coleman. Second part here is he says, I don't think they've got anything that says we have to do something right now. Andersson was an expiring contract. As we know, Kadri and Coleman are not. Flames fans are tired of getting into those kind of handcuff situations in a player's last year of their contract, of course, so they'd rather trade players away sooner than later, like Coleman and Kadri. Still got to keep in mind just the one retention spot, but either way, this quote right here I thought was a very, very interesting and different than what everyone else has been saying lately of Calgary needs to make a million trades, they need to tank, they need to trade Kadri and Coleman ASAP, or else they are the worst organization in the NHL. Next quote here from Friedman. So he said, I had a couple of people tell me on Saturday that this is very real about pre-Olympics and post-Olympics. He then went on to say, unless there's a real race to get one of these players or a big demand on a certain player, you might see some people wait. And this again, he's alluding to Kadri and Coleman, and why he's pointing out the pre-Olympics and post-Olympics part is because some of these players don't have the risk of getting injured at the Olympics, like Kadri and Coleman. It's not that big a deal for them. For other players, it might be, and for teams that have Olympians, it might be. So that's why he's alluding here to essentially saying the Flames are in no rush to trade their valuable assets before the Olympics, because certain teams could be looking for certain things after the Olympics in that little window leading up to the trade deadline. So things could get very real for the Flames very fast. I thought that was very interesting as well. Last interesting one here is he said there's more sellers out there than people like to admit. We know the Flames are sellers. They've already made a huge sale. We know Vancouver is as well. They've made a huge sale in Quinn Hughes. And then other teams are kind of, St. Louis is in there. Some people are thinking Chicago and some of those other teams near the bottom of the standings. The Rangers for sure, of course. But he's kind of alluding to the fact that maybe there's more sellers. And this could be a good thing for the Flames and a bad thing. I'm trying not to see it only as a bad thing, where if there's more sellers, then it kind of, thins out the market a little bit and our guys aren't as valuable. But there's also good things, and maybe people will see that what we have is more valuable, that kind of thing. But overall, it might not be a great thing if there's more sellers out there than people like to admit. But it's funny because there's so many teams in that playoff race right now. I mean, people would argue the Flames still are, of course, but the whole Eastern Conference essentially is, other than the Rangers at this point. But it is overall, I thought, very interesting. Now, if we get into the rest of the trade rumors here, hey, there we go, I'm back. So yeah, just another quick thing that NHL Trade Alert pointed out from the 32 Thoughts podcast from Friedman is saying that Calgary is quiet right now. Andersson was the big trade they had to make, and they have time on the rest of their players. Again, no rush. Definitely not until after the Olympics, which again is so much different than everything else we've been hearing so far. Darren Dreger talking about the Flames. So he said, a lot of us looking at Nazem Kadri among the contenders of players who could be on the move. There's ongoing discussion between Conroy and Kadri's camp. That doesn't mean anything is imminent. And look, Conroy was reportedly in discussions with Andersson's camp as well for pretty much the whole season, even though I doubt they talked that much. But hey, could we be seeing a little rerun here with Kadri? Or is it more so to check in of, hey, do you even want to be traded at all? Or would you rather stay here? I'm kind of leaning more towards that one, but who knows? That one from Dregs. LeBrun here talking about the Flames. So he says Conroy does want some veteran leadership to be around. On the other hand, there just may be too much interest by March 6th for either Coleman or Kadri. I could certainly see a world in which one or the other is dealt. Keep the other. And I think that, again, goes with that kind of one retention spot remaining. Maybe you trade one and don't trade the other. I know a lot of fans would like to trade both, but then you're having to, maybe not get as big of a return if you're trading that full contract, which maybe someone can't afford, especially in Kadri's case. So interesting over there for sure from LeBrun. Next one here from Chris Johnston talking about Kadri. He said the Flames aren't eager to part ways. However, Kadri plays a premium position and still has a lot left to offer. So the biggest question here is how long he can remain patient in a rebuilding program. And there was all that speculation about the, tantrum and whatever Kadri went through. We know it was just about his play, and hopefully people looking to trade for Kadri are looking at his stats from the past couple seasons, especially last year and maybe not this year as much. But hey, he's still obviously very valuable for the Flames going forward and also as a trade asset as well. Last one from Friedman once again. So he's talking about the Flames. He said, I think Blake Coleman prefers to stay, but what Calgary's going to do now is if they get deals that make sense, they're going to go to these guys and say, we're gonna do them. Obviously, they have no trade clauses or whatever, but yeah, it certainly looks as though I think both of those players are totally down to stay in Calgary, but they'd be down for a trade as well if it's another shot at the Cup. So overall, kind of makes sense with everything here. But yeah, very interesting. Different stuff here in today's video. Now, let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. Comes from yesterday's video, of course. And it comes from One Fell Swoop saying, draft McKenna, let Vancouver draft Verhoff, and let St. Louis draft Stenberg so he can play with his brother. Everyone wins. And yeah, I think I'm down for any of the kind of forwards. Verhoff too, if he's best available, and then you can do what you want with some of the other D-men in the pipeline. But I still think McKenna might be the guy to go for, of course. Yeah, Vancouver, I mean, they traded away a really good D-man. They brought one in Zeev Bouillon, but yeah, Verhoff could go there as well. And then, yeah, Stenberg go to St. Louis makes sense as well. But I'm super down for Stenberg, too. He's a growing boy. He looks really good. And again, the Digest Media guys on the other NHL channels are highest on him out of anyone. So maybe I'm letting that get to my head a bit. But again, I'm just really hope the Flames can get a top 3 pick, if not top 1. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.